Hey there, welcome to our channel. Let's continue with our episodes. So in the previous episode, we have handled how we can create the card and by adding all the request authorizer. And you can see right before creating the card, we have just tried to validate the available stock and etc. But a couple of things we need to still need to hook it up with our catalog service. So right before getting the card, so while our user is going to create the order, then definitely it has to validate the available stock at that point. Why it is necessary already I have explained in the previous episode. But still, if you like to get to know why exactly this thing's going to be needed, still I can explain once more, right? So whoever not maybe have not watched that particular episode, then they can get the clue why exactly this thing's going to be needed. So if you see here, while we are getting the card, if you go to the get to card, right, get card. So this get card functionality, it's going to call from our front end, right? So maybe not only front end, from any source, maybe it can call, right? So as a kind of backend, this is our responsibility to make sure always while you are going to create the order, so make sure you are always providing the updated card information, right? So already user has created a couple of items in their cart. And those card items was laying down for a while, right? Maybe more than 7 days. Then after 7 days, when you get back to the shopping website, and if you try to create an order, definitely the product state, the stock state, it's not going to be same because maybe product is out of stock, right? So to handle that scenario, this is not only the front end or maybe client application's responsibility, it's a responsibility of the backend application and APIs to make sure you have a proper stock details so you can create the order, right? So user order should not supposed to end it up with the out of stock, right? Then this kind of stuff, it is often happening while we are poorly architect our backend system, right? To get rid of this kind of stuff, like make sure you are always having a kind of verification call for the stock details to the inventory service. So whatever you can say, like maybe it can be inventory service, catalog service, or maybe product service, so whatever. Now, you can see here, we are just simply calling one call that is called get stock details, right? So, and if we are finding the get stock details is successful right here, and we are checking it out, all the line items, if has the stock available, right? Then we are assigning that the stock availability item right there, right? Then finally, we are updating the line items and returning back to the user. So from the backend perspective, always it is giving the line items, right, along with the availability. So our client application, front end or maybe API or whatever, they are going to call from our side, right, from their side to our API. Then they can get to know like, hey, I have added the 10 items to the cart, but right now line item is less than 10, right? So based on this availability, they create a kind of logic and show the pop-up or maybe not available or out of stock. This kind of message they can show up in the user interface. All right, this is the idea behind this. So let's have a look at the get stock details. Right, that is a kind of API call that is we have integrated in our previous episode, and you can see we are calling the catalog base URL. Right, this is going to be from here 9001. Right, so this is. We need to spin our catalog service right there. Then, while we are getting the stock details, then this call is hitting to our catalog service, and it is trying to post all the required IDs. As an example, some of the products. If you go to Postman, and if you see, I have the product IDs 1 and 2, right? So these are the 1 and 2 product IDs laying down in my card, and I'm just trying to get the stock details. So this is what we are posting here, and while it is returning the data, it is returning data as a kind of product, right? If the product is not found or maybe product deleted, then definitely it's going to throw some kind of error. That is we need to handle right here, right here. And already we have a kind of error mechanism right there while we are calling this route, right? So if you go to here in the routes, right? Go to routes and cart routes, you can see if we are having error, then we are straightly providing this error to the next, right? So our application can handle it and it can send it back to the client. So now I hope you got the agenda what we're going to do today, right? So first of all, we're going to take care of this stock details in our catalog service. Then we're going to integrate our then we are going to move forward with our order service, where we are going to create the order. But after that, like, as soon as we are integrating the order creation stuff, then we need to integrate the Kafka as well as. So all those stuff we are going to handle one by one. All right, then let's jump into the catalog service. All right, so here inside this catalog service, let's try to go to inside this API. You can see inside the source and API, we have a catalog routes, right? So let's try to open this file, and we can see we have a couple of endpoints. So let's try to add one more new endpoint. So here, this endpoint going to be definitely it's a kind of post endpoint, router.post, and the endpoint will be similarly as we added right there in our the order service. This is going to be like products and stock, right? And here where we will be adding this similar kind of stuff like that we have added for our the other rest of other endpoints. Then we will check it out. Like if we have, let's try to wrap it up with the try catch. Right. An error. This is we are going to handle later stage maybe, right? And then simply just to return this response status as a kind of 200 and JSON as a kind of data. All right, this is what we're gonna say. And you can see we don't have this get product stock. Get product stock. We don't have this function in our catalog service. So let's go to our catalog service, right? So let's go to catalog service. So here inside this catalog service, let's go at the bottom of the file. So here we're going to add one more function. This is going to handle us like to try to find it out all the IDs, all the product IDs, and send it back to the catalog routes. So let's try to add that one. It is called async get product stock, right? Get product stock, and here inside we are going to send the IDs as a kind of array of numbers, right? Then you can see like we don't have this repository function as well as where we can find the stock. So definitely we need to go to repository and we need to create a similar one as well. And here let's try to handle this error maybe, or what we can do, we will see like if the products, let's say products are not, if it is true, if it is false, right, then definitely we can say throw error unable to find product stock details, right? This is what we can send it back. Okay, and if the product is a kind of true value, all right, then we are just to send it back the products, right? Now the issue is we don't have the product stock as well. So let's go to our repository, right, on the top of this file, the catalog repository. Definitely we don't have this file in the repository. So let's go to repository and the catalog repository, and here catalog repository, and here we're going to add one more function. This is going to be like it's called find stock number promise as a kind of product, right? This is what we need to do in this repository interface. Now let's go to catalog repository once again, and it is complaining, right? So let's try to quick fix and implement this catalog repository. And let's try to move this function to end of the file so it can be looks more cleaner. Now here we need to implement all of this kind of like database logic to find it out all the IDs and send it back to our repository, our catalog service there, right? So while we're going to call this one, then definitely it has to return the. Now here inside this find stock, let's try to add some code quickly. So here we are going to add some code quickly, right? This is going to be return this Prisma product find many, where we are gonna say ID in IDs, whatever IDs we are going to pass, it has to send it back to our service, right? Let's try to use like this. Cool. Now let's go to our catalog service, and we can see like it is complying correctly, and catalog routes also it is complying on the whole thing correct. So now let's try to spin our application. We will check it out whether we are able to get this product stocks correctly, right? Because already we have been exposed this one, then we should able to call this the catalog route, catalog service calls from our Postman itself, right? First of all, we're going to spin our catalog service. Let's go here. So already we are inside this catalog service. Maybe you can check it out just like now, present working directory, right? So you can see we're inside the catalog service, right? So here yarn dev, right? This is the command which is going to help us to spin our catalog service. So you can see catalog service is up, right? It's listening to port 9001. Again, we are going to open another terminal, right? So this time what we're going to do, like we're going to spin our user service. Then let's go out from this current directory and we are going to say user service, right? So here also I'll make sure there nothing left for installation of any kind of like node modules. So yes, everything is up to date. Then yarn dev, and this is already, you can see like we have a port 9000 running for our user service. Then one more terminal. This is going to be for our order service, right? So again, I'll make sure everything has been installed correctly. But as you can see, we are inside this user service itself. So let's go out from user service and let's switch to our order service, right? Order service, right? So again, I will make sure everything installed correctly, then yarn dev, right? So this is going to take a little bit time because we have already integrated Kafka, right? So then only we can see, yeah, can you see like right after connected with the Kafka, then only we can see application is listening to port 9002. So first thing first, what we're gonna do, first of all, let's follow the user pipeline. First of all, we will check it out if we can log into the user. So go to our auth service, go here in the login, right? So go to body and you can see, maybe we can use like, maybe test@test.com. That is already been, we have created one user. Let's try to sign in. All right, so login is successful. Now, let's go here in the catalog service. Let's try to get all the products, right? So get all products. So this is the endpoint where we are going to call catalog 9000, localhost 9001 and products, right? And we can see we have 2 products, right? All right, so we can see we have 2 products, right? So we care about only the product ID. Let's go ahead here in the order service. And here we are going to call the get card, right? So as soon as we are logging, then you can see here on the script, we are assigning this access token to our parent directory. And while we're going to call this get card, it should have to provide me all the get card information. So let's try to call this one. So you can see it says access denied. So why it says access denied? Definitely we are not be able to access the auth service, right? So order service not be able to reach it out, or maybe it's not a valid user, right? So let's try to validate. Because we are using the same login. Again, I'm gonna do login, right? Let's try to validate, and it is working, right? Validate is working. So how we can debug it? For debugging all this kind of scenarios, what we need to do, let's try to backtrack one by one. We are not care about this catalog routes as of now. Let's go to our order service, right? So here in the order service, let's go to our routes, right? Card routes. So which is the route we have called? This one, right? So get card. And you can see it is not reaching here because we need to call our request authorizer to get all the card. So let's go to request authorizer. So here, let's try to put a kind of console log here. Console log and request authorizer called with request headers authorization. So we need to make sure whether we have this authorization token present in headers or not, right? If it is present, let's go to validate user. Here also, right before calling this endpoint, let's try to make sure like we have console log validate user called with the token, right? Then we can do the log here, console log response data, right? So this is how we can debug like step by step which portion of the code has been executed correctly. Then we can find it out the logs accordingly, right? And sometimes it's a little bit tricky to find out the root cause, but this is the way where we can dig deeper to the debugging side, right? Now let's try to go here again. So sometimes it's taking a little bit time because it's need to connect to the Kafka first, then only going to start our server, right? So what we can do to get rid of this kind of issues, right? So if you try to debug, maybe we can go to our Express app here, and we can just comment it out this tab for a while, right? Anyway, we are going to move this part of the code in some other places, so where maybe it will not block our application restart, or maybe it's not going to take a longer time for restart the application. But anyway, it's coming back right now. It's a application is listening to 9002. That's a good sign. Now let's go to Postman again. Let's try to call from our get card details. So we know for this new user, it should not supposed to have any kind of card details right there. So let's try to call it. Again, it's saying access denied, right? So let's go here step by step. We will see in the last console panel, that is we have just created for our this one, right? For our order service, and you can see it's getting called, but right after this, yes, request authorizer call with the bearer token. Yeah, that's for sure. Bearer token authorization header is exists right there. Validate user called with a bearer token. That's also a pretty good sign. But this access denied, user not authorized. This is coming from here, I think. From here, and because I can see any response tag which is printing out here. Yeah, there are no any response tag because it's falling to here, right? In the error section, because this is what it is getting printed, right? User not authorized, right? You can see the user not authorized is printing out, or maybe it is falling to here, right? But if it is falling to here, then we should have to see the response, but I can't see the response tag. It is printing out here, right? So cool. So what is going wrong here? Because we should supposed to this XUS call has to go through, because this is the base URL and this is the endpoint. Wait a second. This is not the endpoint, right? So if you go here in the Postman, and you can see validate, we are using auth, right? So I think we found the issue. This auth is missing right there in the endpoint. So let's go here and let's try to use auth, right? Then this is the correct one, and let's try to reload again, right? So I'm gonna kill the server and again restart it. Now you can see this again, it's coming online, right? 9002. Let's go to Postman once again, and now this time it has to call correctly, get the card, and cool, it's working now. Can you see it? Card not found. So that means this new user doesn't have any card, right? And if you see the logs, then it is printing it correctly, I think. I think card not found. This is fine because yeah, this exception exactly it is throwing from here, because we are not we are producing some kind of events, but we are not handling correctly. But cool, it's a good sign. So it's working correctly. So what we are gonna do, let's try to comment it out this piece of code for a while, and then we are going to revisit while we will be hooking up with our catalog service to do this kind of events together right before creating the order. Now it has to be faster. So right now it is again coming back. Now let's go ahead and try to add. Now here, let's try to create our card, right? So we know our user is connected right now, and this is the product ID, right? This is already, you can get it from a get product ID, right? These are the two products. And create the card, we are adding the product ID 1 and quantity, at least quantity, let's say 5, right? Then send. And you can see this returning 2, right? Definitely it's saying 200. That is exactly enough for us for a while, right? We don't care about like how much card items we have added, only because we have a dedicated call to get the card, right? So here, now it should have to give us the card details along with the stock details. That is what we have added right there in the catalog service, right? If you go to catalog service, that endpoints already we are serving from there, right? So this one has to call. Now let's go here and boom, can you see? It is right now, it is giving the availability. This availability exactly is coming from our catalog service. Now let's go ahead and in the catalog service, let's try to update the stock, right? So in this case, let's say product ID 1 and name, I have just to change, let's say something else. And we can say right now, how much is the stock? It says 10, right? So maybe what we can do, we can say stock is getting deducted to 5. Let's say 5 already sold out, right? So okay, so this is not the exact URL. That is we need to change, provide the product ID, right? So now let's try to update it. Now can you see we have a stock of 5? And if you go again to the user, let's imagine like user have been added this product, let's say 7 days ago. Now again, he's just coming back to our portal. He's just to try to check out, right? And he's just to try to buy this all the items. Then again, he's just to try to refresh this page or maybe visiting the cart. Then it has to say updated cart item. You can see the availability is the 5, right? So that means the quantity, if he has added the 5, it's perfectly fine. But let's say if I'm gonna update the product stock to 2, let's say 2 or 3, right? Then it is updated. Then when users try to fetch it again, and you can see the quantity is 5, but availability is the 3. That means this order is not be able to fulfill. So this is how the e-commerce applications are fulfilling all this or notifying all these cart items while it is getting sold out, or maybe it's only 10 left or 2 left or something. This kind of logic we can implement in our front end or maybe in the client side, all right? But the backend side, you can tackle it accordingly. So now we got to know how we can create the cart and how we can get the updated stock from our inventory or catalog service, right? So in the next episode, we're going to purely dedicate it to our creating orders, where we will be firing some kind of events from our order service. And with the help of Kafka, we are going to capture all these things, consume all these events in our catalog service, and we will try to reduce the numbers of the stocks based on our order, right? Cool. Then see you in a bit. Bye-bye.